We're going to go to the tricky graphs. They're the easiest to graph, but they're the most challenging for you guys to remember how to do it. Flip it over.
Oh, that's not
Easiest thing in the world to graph, one of the hardest things to understand why you can graph it like this. All right, we have y equals -3. So let's just start off with an xy table, first of all. This is a rule. It says y must equal -3. But the coordinate plane is involving x values and y values. And it's only giving me something for y. So if I put -3 for y, what could I use for x?
1.
You could use 1. Well, could I use anything else for x? If I use 2 for x, what could I use for y? No, not according to the rule.
3. -3.
-3. It says y must be -3. No matter what x is. That's if I choose 4 for x, what must y be?
-3.
Must be -3. That's what it's telling me. If I put a -8 in here for x, what will y be?
-3.
-3. That is the concept of it. Now, where can I plot 1, -3, 2, -3, 4, -3, and 8, -3?
On that graph.
Where would they be?
Well, 1 -3 is going to be on this one and down 3.
On this one. You mean to the right one and then down 3? Is that what you're
Yeah,
trying to say?
right
Okay.
one, down 3.
Right 1, down 3.
There you go.
All right. Where's 2 -3?
Over 2, down 3.
Over 2, down 3. And 4 -3.
Over 4.
-8, -3.
That way, 8, down 3.
Quadrant 3.
Where are all these points showing up?
In a line.
In a straight line. And what's that straight line look like?
A horizontal line.
It's a horizontal line.
Woohoo! So you really only need one
Stretch
because you're
three.
going to go the other way across. And it's going to be a straight horizontal line.
Y equaling some number as an equation is always a horizontal line. The part of things that will screw you guys up is sometimes because if you see a y value, they think it's a vertical line instead. That's the tricky part of this.
Yeah.
And we see so many of these kinds of problems. We see these problems almost all the time that you remember how to do these. As soon as I throw one of these at you, you're like, ah,
Whoa, man.
I forgot how to do it. And then you're like,
Whoa.
hey, remember that? And they're like, oh, yeah. And it takes a while to get down. You'll constantly screw it up, and then eventually, after maybe like 5 times of seeing this, you'll finally remember that it is just an easy way to do it. Make sense?
Yeah.
Let's do the same idea for x equals 5.
Then we're going to be up and down.
Now we're going to be up and down. Because no matter what y is, x must be 5. So I'm just going to choose 3 ordered pairs, choose numbers for y's.
8, 9, 10.
20.
Well, let's stay within 10 to -10.
8,
How
9,
about
10.
-5.
All right, we got a 10, we got a -5,
3.
Why
And a
y'all
7,
don't
all
make
right.
it equal?
5, 10, 15, 20, 5, and then 10. That's up here. 5, -5. 5, -5. And then 5, 7. Well, that's just 3 below this one.
So you can do it off of 1.
Yes, you can.
And just
Because
you'll
if
be
you
on line.
remember this, you don't even have to graph it. You just be like, oh, I know what that is. It's just on 5 and go straight down. Oh, this is just on -3. Just go straight across. Easiest ones to graph, but they're the hardest ones to remember. Always a vertical line.
Vertical line.
Vertical line.
So it's pretty much if you have x, it'll be vertical, and y will be horizontal.
Correct.
So it's kind of like switching your little thing up and down.
It is. Now, do you guys know who Dejan Riggins is?
Yep.
No.
All right, he came up with an idea of doing this. He's like, hey, y is -3, so right away he'd be like, hey, y is -3, and hardly ever do you graph on the x-axis or the y-axis, so he's like, oh, it's probably just a horizontal line if I'm sitting here at y is -3. Works every time. And then he's like, hey, if x is 5, he's like, well, here's where x is 5. Well, there's nothing on this, so he's like, well, it's probably a vertical line since I'm sitting on the x-axis. So he does this. He came up with that idea, and it works pretty slick for these kinds of things. That's how he remembered how to do it every time. So it was a pretty good idea, so I was like, hey, Dejan, can I borrow your idea? He's like, no problem.